Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel if you have been here before, and if you're new, also welcome. I'm a part-time crochet designer living in Sweden, and this is my YouTube channel where I share some tutorials, some podcast videos sometimes, now and then. So what I was planning to do today is to make a sort of summary of my crochet year of 2022, the designs I made, and a little bit about how it was to be a designer, how my business developed, if that's of interest to some of you, and yeah, basically just my designs, because it's helpful for me also to recap what I actually did, because I tend to forget, what I actually have done, and then I tend to think that I haven't accomplished that much, which may not be true. So I decided to make this video, even though it's a little bit late. It's now 2023 and it's been for a while, but time passes quickly, and we've been moving, changing houses, which I may tell you more about in another video or on Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm Coral Crochet, and if you don't know, coral is corals in Swedish, if you're wondering about the name. My name is Camilla, so it's not Coral, and yeah, I'm just a mother of a 3-year-old living in Uppsala in Sweden, and I've been doing things with my hands for my whole life, and I never thought so much about it, more than the fact that I enjoyed it, and it was just something I did as a hobby for many years. I was mostly knitting for a long time, and then I just rediscovered crochet and how much had happened in crochet since I was, crocheting some tablecloths and some tops when I was young. So since I started a couple of years back to do more crochet, I've just been hooked and developed more designs, and I really love doing that, so I try to spend more of my time doing that. I do have another part-time job, and I cannot spend all my time doing this, but it's something I hope for the future, to be able to do, possibly. So the topic of today is my designs from 2022 to start with, and at the end I will speak a bit about what I thought was most challenging and most fun during the past year. So the year started with a Colourpop sweater. Initially I called it the color sweater, and I'm going to show pictures here or here. I'll see when I'm doing the editing where they fit best. I'm still not, an expert on video editing, so that's like a learning curve. But yeah, I'm gonna include a picture of the Colourpop sweater, which was, I think it was the first thing I published in 2022. And that's a top-down design with rounds of puff stitches in a contrasting color. And I had decided to choose 2 different contrasting colors. You can also play with that and have 1 or 3 contrasting colors according to what you want to do. You can choose more colorful, contrasting colors, or a more subtle color scale, depending on what kind of impression you want the sweater to make. And it's a top-down sweater, as most of my designs are. I just, think in general it's nice to be able to try on the sweater while you're making it, and to be able to see how it develops. So it's a top-down design. I have some short rows to shape, to make the front go a bit deeper than the back. And it's made in a variant of the waistcoat stitch, which I thought of when I was making the traditional waistcoat stitch. And this is a stitch that exists, that I've seen others do, but I just thought of it at the moment. I didn't know that it existed already. It's just, you know, the result of the experimentation that you always do when you're trying to design things. And in the end, I really like the stitch. It makes it a bit more airy than the traditional waistcoat stitch, which is like mostly suitable for, I guess, baskets and, you know, really more stiff things. So this makes a really nice structure for a sweater. Just gonna have some coffee before it gets cold. You know, espresso just becomes cold immediately, so I need to drink it. Let's see what I was saying. The Colourpop sweater. Yeah, that was the beginning of the year. I had made another one in another color scale, but I accidentally felted that one, unfortunately, which, if you've been following me, I have shared the story. I don't need to go over it again. It was an accident. And I made one for my son in the same color scale as the one I felted that I don't have left. And yeah, so I made also a kid's version of the pattern. So if you want, you can make like matching sweaters with your child, which can be really cute. Some of my testers, at least one of my testers, has done that, so there are really nice pictures you can look at. I think if you follow the hashtag, it may be the color sweater, actually, or the children's color sweater or kids color sweater. I'm not that good with hashtags, or I wasn't in the beginning, so I didn't think about the fact that, you know, if I change names, all the hashtags will be confusing. But anyway, if you go to my profile, you'll probably find the pictures. Yeah, so there was the adult color sweater and the kids color sweater that started off the year. And I've been wearing mine a lot. It's really like useful sweater for winter, and I'll definitely make another one some point, and my ambition is to make a video for that, as with all my other patterns as well. And then, I don't remember the timing exactly, but I extended my Pompei series that I had started the year before with the Pompei top, which was my first published design. And I extended it with two more designs, the Pompei tee, which has like short sleeves with ruffles. Again, I'll put a picture. Has some ruffle details that give a more like romantic design than just the top. And then I also wanted to make a long-sleeved Pompei version in the Pompei series, so I made the Pompei Sweater, which just has straight sleeves. It has the same pattern and the same construction, but it has long sleeves. And I'm right now making another one that is more like in a spring color, so I'm excited to see how that turns out and to show you pictures of it. And these are made in a like light fingering weight yarn, which may be intimidating, but at least the first part up here, like the V-stitch part, is pretty quick to make, I would say. And then like the bottom part can be a bit more tedious, the whole body section, but at least for me, I think it's good to have one of those projects where you just don't need to think so much, you're just working in the round. And with these double crochet, and you know, you can try it on as you go, so you will feel motivated. First of all, you will see that it fits, and then you will feel motivated to finish it because you will see how it looks on you already from the start. So at least I have been enjoying, really enjoying making these projects, and I've made, I'm not sure how many Pompei tees now. I made one first for myself to make the pattern, and then I made one for a friend, and then I made another one to make the video, and yeah, I'm not sure if I've made even more, but at least 3, and then I'm making a second Pompei sweater. So you know, it's a pattern that at least I'm enjoying, and I've tried, by making a full video tutorial for that pattern, I've tried to make it also fun for you to make, not to get stuck on difficult details. So I think that the video tutorial is a really good resource to have. I'm showing you all the steps there in detail. And of course, if there's anything that is still confusing to you, you can always reach out to me, because you know, I do fail sometimes. There are mistakes that neither I nor my testers discover, and you know, then it's better to just reach out to me, and I will just do my best to help you. And you're also helping me by improving my patterns, maybe improving a section that is just hard to understand, or yeah, just correcting mistakes, which I hope there are not too many, but I do realize that sometimes mistakes, there are many numbers, many details in a pattern, and sometimes I just miss something. So you know, I'm always available on the different forums, or at my email address coralcrochet@gmail.com. So there were the Pompei additions to the Pompei series. And then I guess it was also in the beginning of the year or the spring, I published the Athena top, which is a bottom-up top without sleeves, and it's supposed to be a pretty simple but very wearable top for summer. But I've also found it very useful to have like under a cardigan. It's like, doesn't have any bulk around the arms, or which makes it really good, practical to have under a cardigan, and it's really comfortable as well with the Suzette stitch, which like is just, I don't know why, but the stitch is just very comfortable to wear. Maybe it's like that it's become stretchy because of the structure. I'm not sure exactly what, but it's really comfortable to wear with this stitch. So it's worked in the round, bottom up, until the armholes, and then it's worked separately front and back. And it's pretty straightforward. You just make decreases in the Suzette stitch, and also for the neckline here, and that's maybe the most difficult part. But I would say it's still a relatively user-friendly, beginner-friendly pattern, and I'm also planning on making a video as soon as I have time, hopefully in the spring or summer, to make a full tutorial for that, just to, you know, help you pass by even those parts that can be a bit more tricky. And you know, for details, maybe I will forget to mention the yarn, or like the yarn category, or otherwise this video will be super long. But all the details are of course on Ravelry or Etsy, you know, just in the description part of the patterns. And then when we were approaching the spring, or no, the summer probably, you can probably prove me wrong about the timing on some of these things, but I published the Palma Skirt, which was the result of a lot of experimentation and just improvisation, and in the end I became really happy with how this maxi skirt turned out. And maxi skirts are also really popular right now, and you know, I also really like them, and this one has a three-part structure where you're going towards increasing levels of transparency, and then in the end you have the lace section, which is I also thought of, I don't know if it exists a similar one somewhere, but I was just experimenting and I found that this was like the perfect lace to have at the bottom of the skirt. And also this last row, it was just trial and error, you know, trying different stitches and seeing, and in the end you just find something that just clicks, or like you realize that this is how it should be. And that's basically how I design my most of my things. It's just improvisation, most of it, and of course a bit of planning and a lot of calculations, especially when making the different sizes Yeah, the Palma skirt has the 3 sections, so because it's relatively not so dense, the structure, but it's dense enough if you use the same yarn or a similar one that I used. The structure will be opaque, or how do you say, opaque enough to not to have to wear like an underskirt. If you change the yarn, it may change. From the different testers, there were some different experiences of it becoming a bit more transparent, and then you may need to use like an underskirt. But for mine, it's just enough cover not to have to use an underskirt, which I really appreciate, but still it's very good for warm weather because, you know, it has this airy structure, which means that air air can flow in this warm, kind of warm breezy weather. It can just flow through the skirt, and it's really like comfortable to wear during even hot summer days, I would say. So that was the Palma skirt. I am planning other things for the Palma series, definitely, because I really like this lace pattern that I, you know, made up, or maybe it exists, but yeah, I made it up for myself. So I hope I will be able to present it to you this year. I have a lot of ideas, but not enough time. That's my, you know, constant problem. Whereas I think with anyone who's like trying to design, it just takes a lot of time, and to become really good, you know, as a one-person business, it's yeah, you have to put down a lot of work. And I'm also a mother, and I have a job. Anyway, I hope you can, you know, have patience that my pace of publishing is not always that fast. Anyway, after the summer I published the Rauk vest, and I will put a picture again. This was a new series, which is also going to be extended with a sweater, which I'm wearing here. This has not become a pattern yet, and I want to make some adjustments on it. It's not exactly the way I want it, but I still think it's like a very promising idea to make also a sweater. And the sweater is going to be in a bit like in a DK weight, while the vest is in an Aran weight yarn. So it's a pretty quick project. It has this nice structure, which I also have on a cowl I made. Maybe this, now I've worn it a bit, so it may have become a little bit, you know, peeled a little bit. Yeah, it has the same, this structure pattern, which I have found in a book, so I haven't invented it. But I really like this pattern, and as soon as I saw it, I knew that I wanted to make something from it. It just looks modern, and it gives like the right amount of density, and yeah, it's a nice also variation of like linen stitch and groups of 2DC. So you get the variation, but it's still very easy to work. So that's something I really appreciate, and I think it's a beginner-friendly stitch pattern. And also the vest pattern I think is quite beginner-friendly. It's worked top-down in a similar construction to the Pompei series. So you make like, don't know if you can see the shoulder here, maybe it's like too far away, I'm not sure. But you make the back first, and then you make the front, and on both back and front you make like rows with stitches of different heights to give like the right slope here, because, you know, we are sloping, or how do you say, we are not straight here. To accommodate for that, I'm including this like row of stitches in different heights, and I found that it works really well. I haven't seen, maybe someone else has thought of that, but I haven't seen anyone else do that specifically. So I think that works well, and it's a top-down design, and afterward you work, now I'm showing on the sweater, but I'm talking about the vest now. as that's a published pattern and this is not. And at the end you make the ribbing at the neck and at the sleeves. And yeah, I'm not sure what else to say. I think that's about it. The vest you can make like in a warmer version or like more like a top. I've made both, like a wool version and a cotton version, and you know, the cotton one can be used in summer just on top of a like a really thin, yeah, strap, how do you say, strappy top. And with the wool one I've been using it a lot in the winter because it's perfect. Just, you know, you're feeling a bit, maybe you're having one sweater on, like a thin, but you're just feeling cold, and I've thrown it on those occasions at home or when going out, just to have like something that looks good and also keeps you warm, because in the, like, if you have a wool yarn in a round weight, it's really gives you a lot of warmth, so it can make that difference between feeling just a little bit cold, but not wanting to, you know, take on another super bulky layer which will make the sleeves hardly fit in your jacket. You avoid all that with this vest. Yeah, so that's something I have been appreciating. Now my coffee is probably cold, I'm gonna drink it. Yeah, I also made the raw cow. That's also a published pattern, as I showed you, for adults for now. But yeah, I'm planning to extend this series with kids patterns, the kids raw vest, the sweater for adults and for kids. So, you know, I'm hoping it will be soon, this year, probably next winter season, because now winter is approaching the end. And then when we were in the summer, I published one pattern, the Croissant Hat, which I will also post a picture of somewhere here. And that was just a very fun, quick project in raffia yarn. That was the first time I was working in that, and that was really fun. And I was wearing it all summer. It was keeping me from the Greek sun. You know, we go to Greece often because my husband is Greek. So there it's really a necessity to have sun protection, and maybe you are also in a place where there's a lot of sun or you are just sensitive, and you know, it's a really fun thing to work up on your own and not, you know, just buy one. So that pattern is available, and if I remember correctly, I should know that, I think it's for free. Yeah, it was a while since I published it, so I have actually forgotten, but I think so. Otherwise I'm gonna try to remember to put a text here, you know. Yeah, we have the Croissant Hat, and then I think the last two things I published, one is just a video where the Colourpop Hat, which I made one for all of my family. We have some pictures of us all wearing it, and that's really cute. So you can do the same if you want, if you have a partner or, you know, kids in your family or extended family. And the kids pattern is not actually out yet, I should say. I have made one for my son, and I'm gonna extend the pattern. It goes down to 52 centimeters, so it can basically be made for a bit bigger kids, but I'm gonna extend, make it like a full kids pattern, and also with ear flaps, which I have made for my son, and that has been a great hat to wear, even in the Swedish winter. It has kept him warm, and you know, it has been a really practical hat as well as a really cute one. So I hope to be able to publish that soon. The adult size Colourpop Hat has a pattern and a video for free, so you can just go in and do that whenever you want. It also uses an Aran weight yarn, like, yeah, 75 meters per 50 grams, I think, and that's what that is in yards. Unfortunately I haven't learned to convert it in my head yet. But yeah, I think that's an around weight. You would think that you would remember every detail of your own pattern, but you know, you just unfortunately don't. And now it's my coffee maker, so I'll just take a break. The last pattern I made is the one that only has a video. It's called the Dala Frost Mittens, and they are some really chunky mittens that are perfect for really cold, snowy weather, or just someone who feels really cold. It also has the waistcoat stitch variety that I've been using for my Colourpop series, but yeah, it's not exactly the same. It doesn't have the puff stitches, and they turned out really nicely. I made a couple of pairs of those gloves, and in a chunky wool yarn. They just start felting after a while from inside and become really warm. And it's a very quick project, and you have the full video. So if you have some, I'm not sure if it's bulky or chunky yarn, but you should just check the video and the pattern, you know, instead of listening to me if I'm, you know, saying something wrong. Anyway, they are quick to work up and really fun. It has this detail with the contrasting slip stitch rows, which makes it remind me a little bit of those Lovikka, if you're Swedish or Nordic, like Lovikka mittens, which are like a knitted mitten, but they have like remind me, even though I wasn't thinking about that when I designed them, they remind you a bit of those traditional mittens. And then I have some other things that I have made but not yet become a pattern. The Rauk sweater, as I mentioned, and all the kids versions of the different things. And then I made something called the Aronia Mittens, which I may also extend into a series, we'll see, which features like one row of crossed DC in 2 colors. So it's a really simple way to make like a how do you call it, multicolor crochet. I think there's another name for it, but my brain is a bit tired. Anyway, crocheting with 2 different colors. So that's something I've done but not yet written down and not put out for testing. And then I also have one example here, but I'm working up another one right now in a yellow color. If you check my Instagram or so, you'll see it's like a short cardigan with short sleeves that I initially just made for myself, but I found it really useful and something just perfect to throw on, you know, on a light summer top when you just want an extra layer, and it's works a bit like looks a bit like a jacket as well, without being like thick. So it's actually turned out to be really practical, and a lot of you also liked it, so I have been planning for a long time to make a pattern, and now it's finally in progress. So that's maybe what's gonna come next in terms of pattern testing. So if you're interested in testing this, just yeah, please reach out or just sign up to my tester call when it comes. I'm always interested in having new testers, and especially for the larger sizes, please you know, feel free to sign up if you like the project. I have flexible deadlines. I'm not like a very, how do you say, yeah, I'm just flexible, and I understand that, you know, life can come in between, and you know, you're doing this for free, and you cannot like put that many demands. So I really encourage you, if you're in the upper scale of the size spectrum, to also sign up for my designs, because I will always give an extension or like a longer deadline for for you who have to work more. So, something more. I think that was about it for 2022, as I don't know if I mentioned that, but that was in total 11 designs, so that was actually more than I would have thought if I had guessed. That's basically one pattern for every month, and then, you know, some during the summer maybe I was not publishing something. So yeah, it was nice to look back also for me and to see that I actually did something and, you know, wasn't completely unproductive. Last year had many things happening, as always in life, I guess. I'm just gonna have my last coffee. There were many things happening, and I was for a while running my design business full-time, because I had in Sweden you have the possibility to take a 6-month leave of absence from work to start your own business. So I thought it was a really nice opportunity to do that. Also while having our son, you know, who was and is still small, and being able to collect him a little bit earlier from school and so on, just being a bit more flexible with the whole schedule. If you're a parent, you will know how it is to try to just fit everything together and have enough energy for everything. So I did that for some months, and then I have gone back to working again. And also during the time that I was working full-time on my business, I was unfortunately not feeling the best, and I wasn't sure exactly why. There were many things just being wrong with me, or I was feeling very tired. And psychologically I wasn't on top, but I did realize after the summer that I have celiac disease, which may have played a part in all of that. I don't know how long I've had it, if it's been years or months, or, you know, I really have no idea, but I have been feeling better, starting to feel better after I switched my diet and got help from a doctor just to sort everything out. And yeah, I am feeling more like myself now, and I do feel that my mind is more clear, and that's also why I have started going through all my patterns that I have published step by step and making videos of them. And then it's also a kind of quality control to make sure that everything's correct when I'm redoing them. Even though they have been tested, you know, it can be difficult as a tester to make sure that everything is correct. So I'm just going through them again, and I have found a couple of things that were actually wrong. And as soon as I find that they were things that you could have figured out, but anyway, I am very sad when that happens, and, you know, sorry for anyone who got stuck because of that. And I do send out updates as soon as I have updated the pattern on Ravelry. On Etsy there's no practical way, I think, to do that, but I do post it in my stories, for example, and encourage you to just send me a message and I will send you the new pattern just immediately. And of course, I'm so sorry about any errors. I'm just doing my best, of course, to make all the patterns correct. And, you know, I guess that's also, as a small designer, small designers are not part of a big group of a team of, you know, you can hire a technical editor, but it is also very expensive to do that for every pattern, and that's something I want to do when I potentially get more income from my business, because it is difficult to pay for all of those things right now as a very small business. But I do take it very seriously, and please reach out to me if you find anything that seems weird or you just don't understand well. And that's also the benefit of buying from a small designer, that, you know, we are here for you in case of problems. Or at least I try to be, and I know that many others, you know, are really good at that and really struggle to make their patterns very clear and user-friendly, and that's something I'm still learning and still trying my best and developing that. So I did say I would talk a bit about the challenges and the fun parts, and I think I have talked about the challenges already, sort of interspersed into the long monologue that I had already. So the challenges is of course time management, managing your everyday as a business owner. There's never enough time because crochet is slow. And then we have the economic part, which it's really, you know, I'm doing this because I really love it most of all, but since I really love it, I would like to spend more time doing it, and I think I do have enough knowledge to develop patterns, but the difficulty as that kind of small business is to have enough income to live from it, of course. So that's a big challenge that I think anyone who's doing this faces, and sometimes a big stress. I am also working part-time, so it is difficult to get the time to actually do those things that will make me grow, while at the same time getting an income to support our life. So that's a big challenge. The other parts are just, you know, in order to do that, you really do need to love it, and I do, and that's why I do continue despite challenges. And I feel that this is something that I've been doing all my life, and I thought there was no big value in it, but you know, I did realize that there is actually a value in it, and that I probably can contribute something with my patterns. So yeah, that's, you know, the fun part, and most of the job as a designer. I just, you know, there are some parts that I like. Pattern editing is not the most fun, that's what I usually keep procrastinating, but it's still really like something that I'm passionate about, and you know, all of the work is basically fun to me. The problem is just that the time is not enough always to actually do all those things that you want to do. But for the coming year, I just want to focus more on video because I really enjoy doing that. I'm terrible at writing in general messages. I was always good at writing in school, essays and stuff, but when it comes to writing messages, DMs, like I will answer to any question that you have, but when it comes to being more like reaching out to people and just taking new contacts, I'm really bad at that. And also, you know, I'm just focusing on developing the designs, and then sometimes I forget to just pause for a while and speak to other people in this crochet community. So that's why I also enjoy video, because it's just a way of speaking and reaching out to you, to other people, which is not dependent on writing, which I just for some reason am not good at all. So yeah, I do want to focus more on video for the coming year. Tutorials, I do think it's a nice resource to have all my patterns as video tutorials. So that's something I'm continuously working on. Of course it takes a lot of time, but the Palma Skirt pattern video will be published soon, within 1-2 weeks I would say, I hope so. I just have the final editing to do. I've done all the filming for that, so I'm excited about that, to bring you a video for this pattern that I also really was happy with how it turned out in the end. So that's my plan for the year. Yeah, if you have any questions or any thoughts, just please comment below. And if you watched all the way to the end, thank you, and please subscribe to my channel if you put up with me for that long, because I will be doing my best to publish new interesting content for anyone who likes crochet, tutorials, new patterns, and just my aim is to try to be inspiring as a tired mom in her 30s can be. That's my ambition, because I think that having a hobby like crochet is a huge value in your life, a huge, maybe value is not the right word, but huge like asset in your life, if you're gonna speak in economic terms. Just something that you can always pick up, even if you're feeling bad or at a low point in life. You always have that inspiration there, new patterns to look at, and that has definitely taken me through many boring and difficult times in my life. And despite doing this since I was a kid, basically, I'm not tired of it yet. So that's a sign of how much there is to actually do within crochet and knitting. There's like an indefinite amount of things to just explore. So if you like that idea and you agree with me, then please subscribe to my channel, reach out to me, I'm always here. And if you want to look into my patterns, they are on Ravelry and Etsy, and whenever someone buys my pattern, I'm just extremely happy, which I think is the same for many small business owners, because it supports like the dream I have to do this more of my time, and to be able to support myself at least partly from this, and doing what I love. So thank you for watching, and happy crocheting. See you really soon. Bye bye.